Right now,
Today we'll tackle tough times in California.
Economic troubles facing San Diego will be the focus of Mayor Jerry Sanders' annual State of the City
reports a 60% hike in rapes where either one or both people.
Process. UCLA researchers tracked the progress of 50 sarcoma patients using
From the KPBS studios, this is San Diego Week.
Hello, I'm Joanne Ferry, and thanks for joining us. Tonight, reshaping San Diego's political map. We'll tell you why you should care about redistricting. And a San Diego City Councilmember releases a public statement on a very personal matter. Opening day at the Del Mar racetrack. No shortage of beautiful people in hats, but are there enough horses to fill the race cards? Pictures like this can mean only one thing. Comic-Con is back. What's worth more, the event's cultural currency or the cold, hard cash generated? And a feature about a group of kids learning how to cope with their injuries at a special summer camp in the Cuyamaca Mountains. That's coming up on San Diego Week, but first, the headlines. Katie Orr joins me from the KPBS News Center. Katie, new unemployment figures were released today. How bad is it?
The employment rate in San Diego County was 10.4% in June. That's nearly 1% higher than May, but slightly lower than the same period in 2010. San Diego is still below California's jobless rate of 12.1%, but it remains well above the nation's rate of 9.3%. San Diego will explore the possibility of giving Balboa Park a makeover. The controversial plan would create an access road off the historic Cabrillo Bridge and route traffic around the Plaza de Panama. The City Council has entered into a memorandum of understanding with the committee behind the plan, which is headed up by Qualcomm founder Irwin Jacobs. The Jacobs family are financial supporters of KPBS. Come September, gay and lesbians will be able to serve openly in America's armed forces. President Obama ended the turbulent don't ask, don't tell period today. As of September 20th, service members will no longer be forced to hide who they are in order to serve our country, the president said in a statement. Tijuana is promoting its aerospace manufacturing industry. This week's Baja Aero Show brought together dozens of companies, investors, and industry representatives from both sides of the border. Baja California has more than 50 aerospace and defense companies producing parts. Mexico's aerospace exports have grown more than 15 times since 2000. That output is expected to double by 2015. The cost of building taxpayer-supported affordable housing units in low-income neighborhoods is twice what it costs to build high-end apartments in San Diego. That's according to a story in voiceofsandiego.org. The report noted that because of a variety of factors, new low-rent apartments in blighted areas cost upwards of $500,000 per unit, compared with half that in more affluent areas of San Diego.
The political landscape of the city of San Diego is about to change. The city is in the process of redistricting. A citizens commission is redrawing the 8 electoral boundaries for the city council members and adding a 9th district. By law, redistricting must occur every 10 years following the census. The new boundaries must all be even in population and provide fair representation of racial and ethnic groups and other communities of interest. This is how the city is currently divided into 8 electoral districts. And this is a map of the new proposed boundaries, including the creation of a 9th district. Ensuring the city's growing Latino and Asian populations are represented in the new boundaries is among some of the considerations for the new map. District 4 would have a 42% Hispanic and 24% Asian population. District 6, 33% Asian. District 8, 75% Hispanic. And District 9, a 50% Hispanic population. The remaining districts have white majorities.
We just feel that our interests and our requests are not being fairly heard and fairly represented, and 16% of the population has no representation, most possibly for another 10 years. So next time maybe I have to bring my grandson to seek for representation.
the African American community or District 4, like I said, we have gotten almost everything that we have asked for. So it was good that the commission listened to our testimony. I just wish they would listen as attentively to our Latino brothers and sisters as well as the Asians.
And joining me now to talk about how redistricting can affect the outcome of elections is Midori Wong, Chief of Staff for the Redistricting Commission. Thanks, Midori, for being here. Let's first of all talk about the changes. What are the biggest changes in these boundaries?
Sure. Well, everything looks a little bit different with the addition of a 9th district. But an interesting statistic is about 7 of the 9 districts have 50% or more of the population that was in the old district in the new district. Some of the big changes are District 6 shifts to the north and incorporates Mira Mesa, Miramar, and a portion of Rancho Penasquitos. Downtown, you've seen, has been incorporated into District 3 with some of the other neighborhoods surrounding Balboa Park. And the new District 9 unites the neighborhoods of City Heights, it dips down into Southeastern, and also includes areas like Kensington, Talmadge, the College area, and so forth.
I think for some people who are listening right now, they hear redistricting and they immediately think, oh, I'm going to, sort of tune out. Why should I care? How does this matter in terms of the outcome of elections?
Sure. Redistricting is really about political access. So every 10 years when the census happens, we can see how neighborhoods have grown and changed over time. And one of the primary goals of redistricting is to make sure that you have as close to the same number of people as possible in each district. And that's a concept we try to call one person, one vote. That means everybody has equal access to political representation. It also means that these new boundaries are going to take effect for the 2012 election cycle and thereafter until the next redistricting process.
Why is ethnicity and race such a big issue to consider?
Preserving communities of interest is a traditional redistricting principle, and there's no single legal definition. There's a bunch of different definitions. So the Commission has really made a sincere effort to get out into the neighborhoods and to hear from San Diegans about their neighborhoods and those around them.
So what else are you considering? When we talk about ethnicity and race, really, in other words, we're saying that if we have a neighborhood or a group of neighborhoods that have a large Asian population, that should be reflected ultimately on our city council?
Communities of interest is a concept that incorporates race, but it's not solely based on race. So we look at other things like common issues of concern, common backgrounds, common activities, common socioeconomic interests, and those are all things that get wrapped up into public testimony and considered by the Commission.
So I, in the intro, called this the proposed map.
Yes.
What happens next in terms of making this the final map?
The Commission last night adopted this preliminary plan, and starting next week for the next 2 weeks, we'll go back out on the road and take public comment, and this will be used by the Commission in their final deliberations prior to adopting a final plan.
And when does that happen, the final
Probably
plan?
late August.
Great. Midori
Yes.
Wong, thanks for being here. The new boundaries could affect at least one council member who is now looking for a new home. Councilmember Marty Emerald released a public statement yesterday about a very personal matter. Finances are forcing her to sell her Tierra Santa home. Councilmember Emerald joins me now to tell us about what led her to this decision. Councilmember, thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely.
First of all, your home is being sold in a short sale, so that means that you owe more to the bank than what your house is worth right now. What led you down this road? What happened to cause this?
Well, sure. It was a prolonged illness from my husband for the last couple of years. It's been pretty tough. And it was one thing after another. I had to hire in-home caregivers to take care of him while I was at work. And, of course, I was his primary caregiver evenings, weekends, and so forth. But it was very expensive. And then I don't qualify to get his Social Security, so I'm not old enough. Finally not old enough or something. And so because of the reduced cash flow and all of the money that went into his care, I find myself in a place where I just don't have the cash flow anymore. And I decided that it was best for my family, my daughter and I, to go ahead, put the house on the market, like so many people have done here in this community and all over the country, and get the best price we can for the bank and then move on. And so we're in the process of doing that. The reason I went public, many people knew that I was going to be moving because of this issue, and it was no big surprise to me because I'd been keeping track of numbers for several months. And of course, my husband passed away in February. But we got some media calls, people asking, well, is Marty moving because she wants to be in a different council district? And that's not the case at all. This is not some manipulation of the new redistricting process. So I felt it was important to just lay it out there, let people know what was going on, so that there was no question about why I'm doing this and what I hope to achieve. I just want to be able to get settled in a community, a house that's appropriate and affordable for my daughter and me, and move on.
There are a lot of people at home right now who probably say, how can this happen to you? You know, we know that you were a well-known journalist. You're now a city council member. I think there's this assumption that you would have a fairly decent salary. Is it $75,000 that council members are paid? Health care benefits. How does it happen?
And I bought a house when I was making twice that money working in television. It's just that this is the story of America in the last several years, about people who are doing well, who save money, who pay their bills, who live responsibly, but then the economy has just ravaged the average American family. People who suddenly lose those cushy jobs and the big salaries. Folks whose investments are no longer worth what they were. People who are retired and 401ks and other investments that were decimated by the market crash a few years ago. So this is not unique to me. I don't feel sorry for myself a bit. I know I've been very responsible, and I know that as a consumer, I need to live within my means. And that's what we try to do in city government as well. We've had many devastating funding cuts, say, from the state. And so as a city council and policymakers, we've got to find ways for the city to live within its means.
Do you think this is going to connect you to your constituents, or it's going to have your constituents perhaps say, wait a minute, you know, how do we feel about her handling the budget now?
I think that it has connected me more intimately with my constituents in the last couple of years, because so many people have gone through this, caring for a loved one, trying to keep them at home, balance the needs of work and caregiving. My age group, the baby boomers, are sort of the sandwich generation. Many of them are taking care of kids and parents. In my case, it was a spouse and my own child. But everybody is going to pass this way.
Right. Quickly, Councilmember, I just want to go back to redistricting. Do you know what district you will be in when you move?
No, I don't know. And with the new maps, my district is literally chopped in half. So part of it is north of 8, and that's District 7, and part of it is south of 8, right here where we're sitting, and that's District 9. So my daughter and I will roll up our sleeves. I'm shopping Craigslist every night, staying up far too late, and we'll find a house that is comfortable and affordable for us, and as soon as we change our address, we'll let you know. But I am running for re-election, and I hope to continue serving all of my constituents until this is finalized.
Thank you, Councilmember.
You bet.
Emerald, for being here.
Okay, thanks for having me.
4 days a year, San Diego emerges from the shadow of Hollywood and basks in the glitz and glamour as it hosts the world's largest pop culture convention. Comic-Con began Thursday in San Diego, and along with celebrities like Justin Timberlake and Steven Spielberg, the usual costume suspects can also be seen in downtown San Diego, many of them spending money on hotels and restaurants. And joining me now to talk about what this event is worth to San Diego is SanDieg Chief Economist Marnie Cox. Thanks for being here, Marnie.
Thank you, Joanne.
Let's start with the dollars. How much money does Comic-Con bring into the city?
Estimates right now are the expenditures from the convention over 4 days range somewhere between $40 and $60 million over the 4 days. That's about $10 to $15 million per day being spent. A lot of it on hotels, restaurants, souvenirs that might be purchased like that, people take home with them. Occupancy rates throughout the city for hotels are almost at all-time peaks during this particular convention. There's so many people, hotels get to charge probably 15 to 20% more than they normally would for rooms. All of that leads to additional money being left at the city of San Diego. hotel transit occupancy tax, for example, about $2.6 million will be left here. Sales tax revenue on about $14.6 million in taxable sales. We'll end up with about $147 million in additional sales tax being here in the city of San Diego.
So government the bigger winner or private business, do you think?
Definitely private business is a bigger winner, yeah. You have to net off some of the cost of accommodating, meaning all of the public services that need to be taken care of. So there's a cost associated with handling all those people that are concentrated in one place. But clearly private businesses make out in terms of sales, as I mentioned earlier, about restaurants, souvenirs, things like that. Yeah.
And so how does this compare financially to other big conferences that we host in San Diego?
Well, it's interesting. In terms of occupancy, you know, it's probably one of the best ones they have all year. So the entire convention center is filled up. You couldn't get anybody else in if you were, you know, still within fire code legalities. But on the other hand, if you take a look at the expenditures per attendee, then they're probably a little bit lower than some other attractions. So the total amount of dollars being left here in the city, there are probably other conventions that come to the city of San Diego or the convention center that leave more money. But this is a little bit different too. This is one of those conventions that some people stay in hotel rooms, some people are willing to stay with other kinds of accommodations that you see on social websites offered, right? So you get a whole range of...
These are different convention goers, right? And they don't spend the kind of money that you might have, say, someone in biotech at a fancy restaurant or buying expensive gifts.
That's exactly right. And I think what you're seeing is places they go out to eat are a lot different than you would get for either a business or a medical convention that might be here in San Diego.
So is this the kind of thing the city wants to invest its money in? Is this the kind of big convention we want to be known for, or do we want to invest in biotech?
Well, I think two things there. First of all, we have a convention center here, right? And so this is the kind of activity that we should promote because we're filling it up, right? We're using it, it's bringing a lot of money in. I think the other question is a little more long-term. You know, do we want to be more dependent on this type of activity, or we would like to branch out into other areas? And this is something, if you're going to spend your extra dollar, you know, municipal dollar on something, you probably want to take a look at what is it you need. Today, with high unemployment rates, you know, the service industry probably does a pretty good job of lowering that unemployment rate, but if you're looking to raise per capita income, wages, then you probably want to branch out to other types of investments.
So short-term versus long-term. Great.
Yes, very much
Marnie
so.
Cox, thanks for being here. If we're in the middle of an economic slowdown, someone forgot to tell the more than 46,000 people who showed up on opening day at the Del Mar racetrack, a record number. And while a sluggish economy may not stop the people from coming, it is having an effect on the number of racehorses.
Well, the shortage in horses, simply put, came from the economy. And, you know, 3 years ago, the economy went in the tank, and so did the breeding industry. You know, why would I breed a horse if it cost me more to breed it and raise it than I can get to sell it? So a lot of people backed off.
Track organizers have offered incentives to breeders to race at Del Mar, including a $1,000 bonus for every out-of-state horse that shows up, and a 20% bonus on top of the horse's winnings. The incentives have allowed the track to run races 5 days a week, and that's a good thing for the city of Del Mar. Joining me now to talk about the economic impact of the races on the city of Del Mar is Del Mar Mayor Don Mosier. Thank you, Mayor Mosier, for being here.
Thank you, Joanne.
Record crowd. So what does that mean for the city of Del Mar from a financial point of view?
Well, the more people come to Del Mar for the races, the more people stay in Del Mar at our hotels, more people that come to our restaurants for dinner or partying after the opening day, and that all turns into revenue for the city.
We just heard about Comic-Con from our chief economist from San Diego, talking about you get your occupancy tax and sales tax. Is that the kind of thing that the city benefits from?
Yes. Normally during the racing season, our 5 hotels are almost full, 100% full. That increases our occupancy tax, and the restaurant patrons increase our sales tax, so that we can see a spike every year in July and August in our revenues, and the last 2 years it's been going up. It looks like it's going to go up again this year.
Now, this is something I would think from a city government point of view is a good thing. You see more money coming in. What about the people of Del Mar? It's a traffic nightmare. Is this something they support, that they tell you they want to keep seeing?
Well, I think that there are two ways to deal with the race season. The people who love horse racing stay in town and support it. The people who are bothered by the traffic take their vacation in July and August.
Now, we saw from the clip just previous that there was some uncertainty in terms of the number of horses because of the recession. But that isn't sort of the only thing that's kind of left uncertainty when it comes to the track. The state had a proposal to sell the property to try and generate some revenue. What's happened with that so far?
Well, last year the city of Del Mar almost succeeded in buying the racetrack. Since that time, since Governor Brown took office, it's not been totally clear that the state is going to sell the fairgrounds. They may not. And also the financing that the city had put together has become more complicated. The Horseman Group is now waiting to see whether they want to invest in racing in Del Mar. So it's still on the table, but it's not as clear an option as it was a year ago.
But the city, your city, did express interest in buying this.
And we're still interested in buying it. We're interested in supporting the horse racing at Del Mar. We think it's a long-term investment. It's going to be a premier destination for horse racing for many years to come, and we'd like to support that.
In the long run, is it worth more to have a racetrack in your community, or worth more if you said new development? Think of the property tax, think of all of that.
The fairgrounds was built on wetlands. It is not an appropriate site for any intense residential development or any residential development, and that's one of the unique opportunities in having the racetrack there.
So you couldn't build houses if you wanted to?
You couldn't build houses if you wanted to.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for being here.
Thank you, John.
There are dozens of summer camps in San Diego County, but this week, a special camp in the Cuyamaca Mountains marks its 25th anniversary. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg tells us a select group of 70 campers are getting some life lessons while they enjoy some fun in the sun.
It's called the Camp Beyond the Scars. That phrase has special meaning to each one of the campers here. That's because they've all survived burn injuries. 12-year-old Tiffany Vargas has been coming to this camp in the Cuyamaca Mountains for the last 5 years. She loves it.
You get to be with burn survivors like yourself. You don't have to hide your scars if you're shy.
Tiffany got her scars a long time ago.
I was 4 years old in the kitchen looking for something to eat, and my aunt was cooking some soup, and the pot broke and it fell on me.
Tiffany has been through a number of skin grafts and other operations, but she doesn't feel sorry for herself.
I loved my scar ever since I was a little kid. I always called it my secret dragon, so I just love my scar, and I'm proud to have it on me.
That's the attitude this camp tries to foster in young burn survivors, while teaching the kids to let loose and have fun. Jim Floros heads up the Burn Institute, the San Diego nonprofit that runs the camp.
A lot of people don't realize that when you're severely burned, you're a burn survivor for life. It is something you will deal with every day of your life. There's never going to be a day where you woke up and say, okay, I'm better now. There's the physical trauma that a burn survivor goes through. It's the initial injury. It's the treatment. And there's post-traumatic stress disorder that goes along with that. But then there's the psychological challenges, mental challenges that burn survivors face.
By being with fellow burn survivors, kids learn to feel better about themselves. They also learn some coping skills. And during the week-long camp, they're kept plenty busy.
Here in this beautiful setting, the kids not only have physical activities, they have arts and crafts, peer counseling sessions, individual counseling sessions, and then they make time for some more genteel activities.
This is just one part of an obstacle course that runs throughout the camp. While campers are having fun, they're also developing a sense of camaraderie and teamwork. And each day, campers and counselors gather to recognize each other's accomplishments, a ritual that captures the spirit of the Camp Beyond the Scars.
I would like to recognize Tally for opening up with us at camp, and she's been having a lot of fun and trying new things.
Memo for shaving off most of the first level of skin on him, on his finger when he was doing the rock climbing.
I want to recognize Jason for trying real hard on the skateboard.
For more information about Camp Beyond the Scars and the Burn Institute, you can go to their website. That's burninstitute, all one word, .org. And now, here's Katie Orr with an update on what KPBS is working on for next week.
Coming up on Monday on KPBS Radio, the debate over medical marijuana dispensaries rears its complicated head again in the city of San Diego. And on Midday Edition, we'll hear about the problems plaguing the Navy's newest combat ships.
Thanks, Katie. All of the stories you saw tonight can be viewed on our website, kpbs.org/SDweek. And now here's a look at your weekend weather forecast. Thanks for watching. Good night.